We usually associate glider flying with beautiful weather and cumulus clouds, but sometimes nature can show its dark face, as these British glider pilots found out last week. The pilots were making a recreational flight near the city of Hastings in the south of England. They found themselves high above the clouds and without a clear view of the ground. Without an artificial horizon, they lost orientation and came out of the clouds right above the trees, and at the last moment managed to save themselves from disaster. The event is being investigated by the British Aviation Authority. Brits and clouds and air sports, eh? I could tell you some stories, I've had my moments. Anyway, alright, let's get into all the latest from the world of air sports and aviation. My name is Regan Tetlow and this is Esports News. This year, the traditional FAI Awards ceremony has been moved online and converted into an awards announcement due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The event was broadcast today, just an hour before we went on with this show, so you can watch it now both on the FAI website and on the FAI YouTube channel. Esports Promotion is the producer of the online ceremony and I was the host of the event. This year, 45 awardees were honoured with FAI diplomas or medals for their outstanding contribution, spanning the wide variety of the activities, sports and disciplines within the FAI. The award ceremony is part of the 114th FAI General Conference, which will also be held online this year. We have sad news for all our hang gliding fans. 5 days from now, the 24th Canarias Hang Gliding Open Championship should have been ready to start on the beautiful island of Lanzarote. Unfortunately, the organisers decided to postpone the event until February next year. The new edition will be celebrated from the 14th to the 20th of February. The island is located in the west of the Canary Islands, about 300 kilometres from the African coast. It has 12 takeoff locations in various parts of the island for different meteorological conditions. So far, 48 pilots have registered and 10 of them have confirmed their participation. Matt Lloyd, popular skydiver and base jumper, decided to visit Costa Rica and make an original base jump there. He wasn't jumping off a cliff or a tower or a building or a bridge, so what exactly did he jump off? Let's find out. To do his base jump over the beach, Matt used a powered paraglider two-seater trike. He hired a Costa Rican pilot and asked him to climb several hundred meters to make the jump possible. So if you're a base jumper and you're going to visit Costa Rica, the guys from Parapente Pura Vida can rent you a powered paraglider with a pilot. We can add that to our next boogie in Costa Rica, I think. For my first special guest this week, we head over to Dubai to catch up with a professional canopy pilot who went from a first jump course in Romania to standing on the podium multiple times at world-class competitions in one of the most physical air sports there is. It is Cornelia Mihai.
So in your jumping, in your work jumps, are you camera and tandem or what are you doing?
Yes, and then at the desert I'm doing IFF and coaching and whatever is necessary.
So to the good stuff, the canopy piloting, are you still training on your days off?
Well, it hasn't been a lot of that lately because we are, due to the pandemic, we've kept one team. So we are working when the drop zone is open. So 5 days a week we are open in total. So the 2 days off that we have, the drop zone is closed, so we cannot train. So I've been only training whenever I can squeeze in a jump here and there. Or basically what I've managed to do this year, I've been to 2 competitions and I've trained them. So I haven't trained much for sure. I've trained when I got to Klatovy, Czech Republic. That was a good training camp. And in the US, I did a little competition, but the weather wasn't very good, so I didn't do many jumps.
That was a couple of weeks ago, the Florida Skydiving League.
Yeah. I mean, I was in the area, so I thought, a little competition would be good.
Yeah. On the podium again.
Yeah, it wasn't a big competition,
Right.
but I was happy to go to compete against Kurt Bartholomew. That is, my main competitor for so many years. And I lost. I got second, but it was good. I mean, considering this year and that we haven't had many chances to either train or compete, I was happy to just be there. And I don't think it was too bad. I mean, due to the weather, we only did 4 jumps out of 6.
Right.
So I would have loved to see what would have happened in 2 more jumps, you know?
You absolutely love the competition. You love the battle, the fight, don't you?
Yes.
I think
But I like the battle more. Like, if
Yes.
it's a good fight, even if I lose,
Yes.
it's more about those moments.
I was
And I
thinking. I was thinking about this a bit earlier about if you were in a situation where you were getting first place on the podium, gold medal every competition, finishing 20, 30 points in the lead. I don't think you'd be satisfied with that. If you didn't have the battle, if you didn't have the fight, I think you thrive on that moment.
Yeah, because for example, okay, I've won competitions before, but that's just, you know, it goes.
Yes.
I mean, no matter, maybe it's gonna sound weird, but the podium, it's not the nice moment for me. The nice moment for me when I'm on a tight scoreboard with the other competitors and I need to jump out of the plane and perform at my best. That's what I enjoy.
The rest of the interview with Cornelia is available on our Esports Promotion YouTube channel. Want to see the ultimate all-electric race? An Envision Virgin racing car, an electric Harley, and one of the stars from the Drones Champions League all together at the Goodwood Motor Circuit? Let's have a look. The Envision Virgin Racing Formula E car is a mighty all-electric competitor capable of top speeds of up to 240 kph. Harley-Davidson developed an all-electric motorcycle at the forefront of innovation called the Livewire, and the bike can do a top run with a punchy acceleration firing from 0 to 100 in less than 3 seconds. The drone from DCL League is a lightweight, cutting-edge flyer capable of a top speed of 160 km per hour. Each vehicle has got a different track length to level out the chances for each driver or pilot, and after an amazing fight, the Formula E car won. The Harley was second and the drone was third.
Could run this course over 100 times on a single charge, recharge in less than an hour.
It was all organised as an event against climate change. The FEI officially approved the world records performed by Krzysztof Romanicki and Wojciech Strawzelowski in the distance of a paramotor flight along the Triangle route. The Polish crew covered the distance of 280.4 kilometers. Krzysztof and Wojciech set the world record for a paraglider flight along a closed triangle route. They covered a distance of 280.4 kilometers. This was the second world record for the Polish crew in their career. In 2018, the same crew managed the longest flight in a straight line. Now let's move on to our second special guest this week. He's been jumping out of planes since 2007 and made more than 4,500 jumps so far. He's a tunnel instructor, coach as well since 2014, also a videographer, photographer, filmmaker, chef and singer. Please welcome Johannes Beresford.
The photographs you post, your Instagram feed, it's just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I know you from the skydiving world, as a load organizer. I know you as a filmmaker, a tunnel instructor, a flight instructor. It's a few of the things that I'm aware of that some of the people who are watching might be aware of too. But recently you've started paragliding a lot, being where you are.
Yeah, I've paraglided here for a few years. And before that, I actually started to speed fly before I paraglided, because I've been seeing videos of wingsuit proximity flying and realized that that's probably the most fun that I could possibly think of doing, and the most rewarding and most exciting. But I also realized that it would be something that would kill me, because I'm prone to make mistakes, as we are. And then I was trying to find something to mimic the wingsuit proximity flying. So I was going into FPV, like another air sport, like FPV drone flying. I couldn't even charge the battery because it was so technical. And then I started getting into speed flying, and like it felt very comfortable for me to have a wing over my head. And then eventually turned out that it's pretty much as dangerous as wingsuit proximity flying. And then so I kept going and end up with the paragliding, which is statistically still twice as dangerous as skydiving, but I'm enjoying the process of all the waiting time that comes inevitably with this air sport. and with skydiving as well. All the waiting time is spent on mountains and on dunes and in front of the ocean, and I really enjoy the whole process of this a lot.
And what do you think for yourself? Do you think you're going to carry on working within skydiving, or are you going to move towards more with your activities there, what you're doing now? Have you got an idea, or do you not know yet how you want to progress?
It's going to be a part of my life in one way or another. I think what's for certain is like I'm not going to jump as much as I have before for a few different reasons. I feel good about that. I think continuing to jump when you're not feeling like it would be more harmful than the option.
The full-length interview with Johannes is now available on our YouTube channel, and don't forget that's where you can find plenty of other interesting interviews with all our previous Esports athletes. After the final stages of the Drone Racing League this year, drone fans are still hungry for more, so we've got something special just for them. The DRL authorities decided to prepare a special video series available on YouTube describing this amazing sport, but also general rules for drone pilots. In the first 2 episodes, we can find out news for speed and height restrictions for drones in the United States, but also some tips and tricks for drone pilots who maybe want to fly longer distances. After an 8-month break due to the coronavirus outbreak, the Nepalese government has once again authorised sightseeing flights near Everest, the world's highest peak. The domestic airline has scheduled its first flights over the Himalayas and near Everest on Saturday, December the 5th. Tickets for domestic tourists will cost from $80 and foreign tourists for $150. Domestic airlines offer a second flight free, and the first ticket buyer has a guaranteed window seat. Following the cancellation of many aviation events in 2020 due to the coronavirus pandemic, the Helicopter Association International is making plans to hold its 2021 Heli Expo in person. For the event, organisers will be implementing health and safety protocols designed to combat the spread of COVID-19, including social distancing for the show floor, meeting rooms, registration areas and public spaces. Extra time built into the schedule for cleaning, temperature checks, hand sanitizer stations in common areas, and a mask requirement, of course. A safety kit, which will include a mask and hand sanitizer, will also be provided to all attendees. The 2020 Fort Lauderdale Air Show took place last week. There were concerns by the authorities for the traffic and spectators along the beachfront. With all the stay safe and separate initiatives published for the spectators to ensure social distancing amongst the beachgoers and spectators, the show was one of the first such big aviation events on the East Coast this year. Our friends over there sent us footage from the beach showing how close and dynamic the air show was. The US Air Force and the US Navy presented most of their military flyable equipment, and also civil aerobatic pilots showed their performances as well. Now over to Hollywood for our Hero of the Week. Memphis Bell is a 1990 British-American war drama film directed by Michael Caton-Jones and written by Monty Merrick. Memphis Bell is a fictionalization of the 1944 documentary Memphis Bell, a story of a flying fortress, about the 25th and last mission of an American B-17 Flying Fortress bomber based in England during World War II. 5 real B-17 warbirds were used in the filming of the Memphis Bell, out of 8 B-17s that were airworthy during the late 1980s. 2 were located in America, 2 were in France, and the last one in England. The original Memphis Bell was a B-17F model, so any B-17Gs used in the film were heavily modified to look like an earlier F version, having chin turrets removed, tail gun positions retrofitted with older designs, and being painted olive drab green. On the 28th of November 1909, Geoffrey de Havilland, an automotive engineer, took off from Seven Barrows, Hampshire, England, in an airplane of his own design. Today that airplane is known as the de Havilland No. 1. De Havilland had borrowed £1,000 from his grandfather, and together with fellow engineer Francis Troughton Hurl, built this airplane. Between the 28th and 30th of November 1938, the first prototype of the Focke-Wulf FW200 Condor flew from Berlin in Germany to Tokyo in Japan to demonstrate the long-distance capabilities of this new civil airliner. The total elapsed time for the journey was 46 hours, 18 minutes and 19 seconds. The Condor's average speed from Berlin to Tokyo was almost 200 kilometers per hour, including refueling stops. On the 1st of December 1890, Dame Mary Bailey was born. She was an Irish woman known as one of the finest aviatrix of her time, who personally guided a plane from England to the nether tip of South Africa and back. In 1927 and 1928, she twice won the Harmon Trophy as the world's most outstanding aviatrix. On the 1st of December 1967, Terry Virts was born. He is a retired NASA astronaut, International Space Station commander, and colonel in the United States Air Force. During 3 space missions, he spent more than 200 days in space, including almost 20 hours and 19 minutes in extravehicular activities outside of his spaceships. On the 4th of December 1933, the RWD-9 aircraft made its first flight. During the 30s, it was one of the most advanced high-wing piston propeller aircraft. The prototype of this aircraft was built specifically and only to start in the Challenge 34 aviation contest. That's all for this week. Write to us with your stories on news@airsportspromotion.com. Join airsportsfan.com or contact me directly on Twitter. We really hope you've enjoyed the show. Drop us a like and a share if you have, and we'll see you back here next week. But until then, stay safe, and as always, keep your eyes on the skies.